Thanks, Kareem. Hi, everybody. Um, I think it was the same long 2 days for you as it has been for me. So I'm going to keep this short and snappy and keep a lot of time for questions at the end. We're going to talk about digital transformation in the industry. That's a very wide topic. So first, let me introduce myself, and let me tell you why I'm here and why I'm speaking to you. My name is Andreas. Before founding VUFRAME, I spent 8 years in the games industry, and I spent 8 years working with augmented and virtual reality. So I have a bit of experience in knowing what I'm talking about. And I was actually named as a nerd. The glasses give it away. I was named an Innovator Under 35 by the MIT magazine for my work with AR and VR. Usually nobody gets what that is, so just to show you what that is, it's a list people who are very innovative are on, and it was a list Mark Zuckerberg was also on. My company has a team of 21. We're based here in Regensburg, Germany. It's just outside of Munich. And we develop everything in-house. So everything I'm going to show you, we built in-house in Germany with German privacy and data security regulations in mind. We are specialists for 3D AR, VR, and apps. And as specialists for these topics, we built a platform, a software platform, which lives in the cloud, but which can also live on your very own private cloud or on your on-site, on-premise servers. And this software platform allows you to use augmented virtual reality and 3D out of the box for a lot of different use cases. These are some of our clients. We work with corporates, but we also work with SMEs, mostly in Germany, but also a little bit around the world. We won a couple of awards as well. Mostly our clients win the awards by using our platform. Currently that's supposed to say 650. We have 650 active users adding data to our cloud around the planet. And we have 234 applications in active use, totaling 31,000 daily active users worldwide. These are B2B users who use augmented reality or virtual reality on a daily basis to be more efficient at their job, or to sell more, sell better, or have a happy customer at the more happy customer at the end. So when we talk about digital transformation in the industry with this background of a lot of active users and a lot of customers all around the world, what are we actually talking about? The problem that we're currently facing is that companies tend to spend a lot of time and a lot of money either sending things to people, so people can look at them, or sending people to things, so people can look at the things. That's a huge problem. That takes time, that takes money. And that doesn't help our planet. CO2 emissions are still rising, and it takes a lot of time and resources, which usually are just wasted sending stuff around the globe. So our idea is that someone needs to think about the penguins and actually try to figure out a way to save them. So our solution is what we call the smart view. A single consolidated view which lives on your smartphone or on your tablet, so a device that's always with you, which allows you to show products virtually. And we don't care about whether you want to show them in augmented reality, in virtual reality, or just plain 3D. Our idea is that the smart view allows you to do what you need to do with the device that you have available. And with that, you can actually show any type of product virtually. Think of it as a virtual sales sample, which you can always have on you. Think about this machine or this big robot. Your salespeople cannot take this to the customer. Your engineers cannot take this to the customer to train them, to teach them about your product. Now, using our software, they can. We added a couple of other functionalities, so you can always enrich your 3D virtual product with metadata. What's the product called? What's the SKU? What's the description? What's the unique benefit of your product? And you can show that in a consolidated fashion with one single application in any format you like, 3D, AR, VR. we added what we call the sidebar, because you don't want to show a product for showing the product in 3D. You want to show it and you want to sell it, or you want to show it and you want to explain better what the people you want to train need to do in order to use it successfully. So in this one consolidated view, you can add and link all the information about your product that your customer needs in order to use it successfully. So you have all the information you need in one single place. And that includes videos, that includes technical descriptions, user manuals, whatever you can think of, you can add it. The best thing about it, though, is that it virtually takes you no time to get started if your products are already being planned on a computer with 3D CAD software. We have a big funnel of data formats we support. You can just upload your CAD in a secure fashion, because remember, we are in Germany and we don't take privacy lightly in Germany. And we actually take your files and automatically convert them into a lightweight format we actually developed in-house, so it's proprietary, which is secure, encrypted, very small, and pretty. Remember, we are the nerds from the games industry, so we know how to make stuff look pretty. Your CAD files, which usually are geared towards and aimed at engineers, will be turned into something that's almost photorealistic using gaming technology. This works for any type of product. So whether it's a machine, whether it's a piece of clothing, we have a lot of customers from the fashion world, or whether it's real estate. All these customers, they work with CAD software, which can be converted automatically into a smart view. Our fashion customers, they convert up to 1,200 new pieces of clothing every month just by uploading them to our platform. And you see how good the result looks at the end. The format we developed allows you to automatically process files in almost real time. It takes a couple of minutes in the cloud. We actually developed a non-reverse engineerable file format. This is also something that you need to consider if you want to use your CAD blueprints for sales and marketing purposes. If you send them around the globe, everybody will have access. So if you send a version which is not secured, stripped down, and encrypted, everybody has access to what you added to your CAD blueprints as your very unique know-how and design. This is a problem we address by making our file format, non-reverse engineerable. So you don't need to worry about when you send your robot or your machine to China for sales that the next day a 3D printer will spit it out. And the last thing is, if anybody tried a demo here from the exhibitors or tried to download one of the apps the exhibitors offer, you will notice that because everything is based on 3D, if it's immersive, if it's 3D, if it's virtual or augmented reality, it's always huge. You're facing huge file sizes. We have this one company, they do augmented reality for television series, and their app is 2 gigabytes. Have you tried to download 2 gigabytes over a crappy Wi-Fi connection for a TV show that is 20 minutes long? It downloads, or the download is finished when the show is over. And that's not an option. So you need to really think about file sizes when you want to have a scalable AR or VR deployment. You have a lot of products, and each product can't be 200 megabytes or 600 megabytes. So that's also something that we addressed. Again, we're the nerds from the games industry, and the games industry had to tackle these problems a long time ago. So we came up with a way that actually allows us to strip up to 92% of data out of a product and not lose visual accuracy. We're not using stuff like polygon reduction for that, because polygon reduction doesn't work. You lose the visual integrity of a product. If you have a 6-side part, maybe a little thing the engineer needs to unscrew, and you do polygon reduction, that part might be turned into a 4-side little screw, which the engineer suddenly doesn't recognize anymore because it's not physically present in the machine. So there's a lot of things that people try to apply to these problems from other industries, from the games industry, which actually doesn't work. So we tackled this problem from the ground up, and we developed our own system for doing that. With all of that, you can very easily get started by just converting your products into something which is compatible to augmented and virtual reality. And then you can get started without having to worry about the technology, because you have nerds for that now, you can actually start innovating your business cases, which is very important because these technologies, they are so complicated that usually you spend 50, 60, 80% of your proof of concept phase just by having people figure out technological problems. How can I deploy my app? Why is my app so large? How can I make it smaller? How can I make it secure? I need to provide a login, things like that. All of that we have figured out. So you can focus on how you can put your products in a context where you can actually save time or save money or make your people, your team, more efficient. All of this works with a lot of input file formats. So chances are, if you approach us today, we can send you your first Smart View next week, and you can get started with that. And it works on all devices that are currently available in the market, except for HoloLens. We just put that there for marketing purposes. We don't believe in HoloLens. So if you have HoloLens, please don't come to us. We're waiting for the real good HoloLens, which is hopefully going to be released soon. And it works on any operating system. So if you're Apple, Android, iOS, we don't care. Our vision is that this system we invented, which we call Smart View, allows people to access products virtually, try products virtually at home, visit real estate virtually from their couch, and be more efficient at their jobs and save time in their private lives. And our mission is to make it very easy to for everybody to create these smart views from data they already own. So what you can actually do with that, and I'm going to give you some case studies from real big companies here from Europe, is, for example, you can sell furniture. Everybody knows the app that's shown from IKEA, which is very well done. We're basically trying to offer that for everybody who can't spend millions of bucks on a single application, but has the same amount of products. So if you have a large catalog of products, you can get started with selling them through augmented reality very quickly and with a very low cost footprint. This works for any type of product you actually want to sell. It works for home appliances, it works for home electronics, it works for big machines in a B2B context. You can actually allow anybody to try your products virtually before they make a purchasing decision, which is very important in the B2C context because all companies selling online are facing a huge amount of returned products. In Europe, that number is almost 12%. So think about what cost you can save by reducing that number from 12% to maybe 7%, just by releasing digital versions of your products which can be tried virtually before buying. This can also be applied to a business-to-business context. Here it's not so much about making a better purchasing decision, but rather emotionalizing your sales process. If you and 3 competitors go in for an RFP where it comes down to selling generators, usually you're compared to on spec sheets. Like you submit your proposal with your spec sheets of your generator, and it's completely unemotional. Like there's no way that anybody can influence like what the numbers say. But if you can go in there and you can show what this product will look like in the assembly hall at the construction site of the customer, and you actually leave them a virtual version of your product to explore and to try out later on their iPad and show to their team in the office, then you're providing an additional service which none of your competitors are yet providing, which gives you an edge in any RFP process. You can emotionalize any old, boring product, and just look at that. That's a really, really boring product. You can also use it in fashion. In fashion, it's actually something where we currently have a lot of different showcases because it turns out those guys are creative on their own. So we just gave them our technology and they started to build virtual showrooms to hand over new products of the winter season. They built virtual catalogs to actually not only hand over the new collections, but also give their salespeople and their buyers an iPad which they can take home and already play with the articles, with the products of the winter season in January this year. So 12 months before, they could already give away products which haven't been even sewn as sales samples, which haven't even been produced. And finally, you can make very huge, very large data sets available to laymen. Think about huge construction projects. This is an example with Siemens, for which they actually won the German Digital Award. They're building a new campus, 500 square meters. It's a completely new section of the town, which it's located in. Using our technology, they could actually turn those blueprints into a virtual walkthrough and give it to all of their employees at this site of Siemens offices. So instead of reading 2D blueprints, which usually no one tends to understand, they could actually allow people to use their smartphone, their tablet, to walk through the campus they are going to be working on in 5 or 10 years' time. And not only that, they could actually give that as an app to people to take home and show their children. Hey, this is where I'm going to work in 5 years' time, in 2 years' time. And think about what type of emotional connection that creates between the employer and the employee, where they can actually see what the plan is and actually create an emotional relationship with that. And in a time where experts are rare and you have problems finding people you can hire, this emotional connection is very important. With this, you turn any layman into an expert who can interpret and understand blueprints and plans. This is actually my last example. So if you got inspired, you can come talk to us. We're exhibiting here at the show. We can explain to you whether SmartView is the right solution for you, or maybe why it wouldn't be. And with that, I'm available for your questions. My team and I, the nerds from Germany, say thank you and enjoy the rest of the show.
Andrea, thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions from the audience? Yes, please.
That last example, that one there, yeah. So is that one 3D model when you've processed the whole model, or was that multiple models? Because that's obviously a large site.
It was split down. The whole site was split down into 7 modules, which we processed separately and then unified into one 3D blueprint. Okay.
And so you said about making the models photorealistic. So you're talking about adding textures and lighting and things like that. On a site like that, how are you adding the lighting? Because one object you can just put a light source, but when you're inside a building, how do you know where to put all the lighting? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you. Usually what you do is, these are based on BIM blueprints, so building information modeling blueprints, which the idea behind the standard is that the blueprint is as the physical site will be built. You're talking about a digital twin, which is as built. And in this, obviously, you have all the information. You have light fixtures, you have AC, you have outlets, all of that is in there. You know actually which door will be delivered by which manufacturer at which time. That's all in that blueprint. That's a huge amount of data. And you can actually make semantic sense out of this data when you crunch it down. And usually that's very easy. You just need to look for all the objects which have names which end on light or something like that. Usually it's a very simple process to identify where you need to put lights. And then you just extrapolate the data while crunching it down, and you give what remains to a 3D engine to do all the heavy lifting and do the lighting for you. To be quite honest, this is a modular system, a modular building. So we actually took a little shortcut. We didn't have to process all the floors individually, they were all identical. So we just processed one floor and then inserted it 3, 4, 5, 7 times.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Maybe, so as far as I understood, you can upload the data. So is there a possibility that you can interact with the models, kind of creating step-by-step instructions or something, or do you mainly address really sales, marketing, and that kind of use cases?
We have a template, a toolbox, which allows you to build for example, what we call storyboards. A storyboard, this is also used by Siemens, for example, is a virtual fly-through, step by step. And we have another template which we call Showcase, where you use an online editor and you hide parts of your product, and then you create a new scene which shows those products. They can fly in, they can have an arrow or a hotspot linking to a PDF instruction. So you make your content interactive. Obviously, though, that takes some authoring time. So you spend 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours to create and build that interaction, which we then allow you to take on all the devices that we support.
Okay, so maybe one more question. So the content is uploaded on your cloud to process, and then you visualize it with your viewer. What is your experience with industry customers saying, oh, that's my CAD file, that's my confidential information? So do you have the feeling they're opening up more because they said that's normal using different clouds? Or do you really face a challenge saying, okay, every time we force them kind of, or say you have the option to use our clouds, they're more restrictive?
We offer options. So they're not opening up at all. They're only opening up when you tell them what they want costs a lot of money. So usually what we do is we offer the option to have a private cloud as an add-on, or to have an on-premise installation as an add-on, which comes with a huge cost footprint. And when we show them that number, they usually decide that it might be cheaper to take the security risk than to spend that money. So that's sort of like the one step you do. The other step is that the security problem can be very easily addressed because the files, we can provide a tool, so the files are actually crunched on their own hardware, and then only the secure and decrypted version is uploaded to our cloud if they decide to not go for the private cloud or the enterprise option. So we can make sure that the proprietary information doesn't leave the premise without being stripped down and encrypted.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, Andreas, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time.